The transfer window officially is broken. It doesn't make any sense anymore. Nothing makes sense within the transfer window. I'm going to explain why. Hello everybody, welcome back to Sideline Sato YouTube channel. I'm Sato. Today I'm going to be looking at all the transfer news you might not have kept up to date on for today, which is Wednesday, June 21st, 2023. So we're about a week into the transfer window and things are kicking off. Today was a flurry. So if you like the content, subscribe because I'm going to be keeping you guys up to date on just about every transfer. I don't think it's physically possible to keep up to date on every transfer, but I'm going to try my dang best. So subscribe if you like footy transfer news and content. There'll be a lot of it this summer and beyond. So stay tuned for all that and give the video a like if you enjoy the content. Let's get into it. Starting off with what I think is the biggest news of the day, Kai Havertz, officially an Arsenal player. Fee is estimated to be around 60 mil starting with a 5 million add-on. It is a monster move. It is a shocking move. It is a move that we were expecting, but a move that still has blindsided me nonetheless. Kai Havertz is not a 65 million pound striker with like 2 years left on his deal. There's just no way. And maybe I'm just, being ignorant to his abilities and his qualities on the pitch, but I don't see where he fits in this Arsenal side. Up top, you have Gabriel Jesus. On the left, you have Martinelli. On the right, you have Bukayo Saka. And then through the middle, you have Martin Odegaard. I don't think any of those players get displaced from the starting 11 by Kai Havertz. I think Havertz could rotate with any of those players, but I don't think he could play as an 8. So he can't play in the Xhaka role, for example. But for around 70 mil, for a player who hasn't been the most inspiring, I think many people would say, Chelsea fans included, in the last several seasons in the Premier League, to pay that much money when he's got 2 years left in his deal where you still need, and I would say you still need an out-and-out striker. You still need proper center mids and maybe a bit more depth on the wings. Sure, Havertz could maybe drift out wide, but I don't see him as a pure winger. And you play with Martinelli, you play with Saka. Those guys are wingers. So Havertz to Arsenal for 65 million pounds, I'm giving this a 6 out of 10. I just think it's a really weird move. I think Chelsea kind of fleeced Arsenal here. Maybe it works out, but I just don't see it being worth it. Next, we have another major story. We have a Serie A superstar joining the ranks of the Premier League, joining Newcastle United more specifically, Sandro Tonali. With Tonali joining Newcastle, that midfield is starting to take shape in a wonderful and frightening way. I mean, Bruno Guimaraes, Sandro Tonali, and they're looking at the likes of Barella, James Maddison. It's looking absolutely fierce in that midfield going into next season. And the fee is around 70 million pounds or euros, I believe. That is a big money move by Newcastle. I don't know how their finances will necessarily manifest themselves throughout the course of the summer transfer window. I don't anticipate there's going to be a lot of major outgoings for Newcastle. And even if there was, I don't think a lot of those players would go for a ton of money. Maybe Alan St. Maximin, but anybody else I don't think is going for, say, over 40, 45 mil. So they could maybe get another investment or two in. At what quality level? I don't know. I think Tonali is a wonderful signing, though. I'd give it an 8 out of 10 for Newcastle because, quite honestly, he seems like a player who can really provide a lot of versatility to that midfield and robustness. I think he's going to be wonderful alongside Bruno Guimaraes, and I'm just absolutely envious at Newcastle for pulling off this transfer. Wonderful business by them. I started with Havertz, but let's bring it back to Chelsea. Chelsea had a major exodus today, like an absolutely unforeseen exodus, that is. It was like yesterday, there wasn't a lot of news around Chelsea. The Havertz news was trickling in. Mount news has been persisting for weeks. Kovacic as well. But now 3 more players and 2 more potential outgoings are underway. Right off the bat, the 3 players who have left Chelsea as of today are Hakim Ziyech, Edouard Mendy, and Kalidou Koulibaly. all have gone for fees of, I believe, less than 30 mil. One was around 17, one was around 27, and then one was around, I believe, 12 or 13 mil. And for them to go over there is kind of indicative of just the trend in football. It has kind of become a very quick reality for many people that post Ronaldo going to the Saudi Pro League, many people are following suit. These are players who have been at the top of their game very recently. They're not necessarily players who have fallen out of favor or, decided to break away from the pack and do this. This is just now becoming the trend and the norm in footy. So Mendy, Ziyech, and Koulibaly joined Conte in Saudi Arabia. All four of them are on separate teams. Mendy has gone to Al Ahly, Ziyech has gone to Al Nassr, Koulibaly has gone to Al Hilal, and Conte is at Al Ittihad. Ultimately, all these players going to the league is going to attract even more players, because if you're, say, a top-level player like CR7, who's maybe a few years off leaving his prime, but you can maybe still win a Champions League, you don't make the move quite yet because you'll probably get a lot of money within a couple seasons anyways. But if you're a player who is, maybe not the most competitive or not guaranteed to get a starting position at a Champions League club or at the level you would hope for, say, like Ruben Neves, ultimately you make this move and it's generational wealth versus, Champions League and domestic glory. And ultimately, if the league does become more popular, then you could become relevant in that league by winning trophies still. It's a very, very compelling proposition for a lot of these footballers who are within 1 to 2 transfers away from retiring. They're looking at this move and being like, this is like my last chance to make a big payday. And I don't know if the Saudi league is going to, keep up this kind of investment for years on years. Maybe it's a 2, 3, 4, 5 year thing. Maybe it's a decade. But I need to get in early so that I get the biggest payday possible. Check out my other video that's dropping soon on the whole Saudi league. I'm going to kind of explain it as an introduction, so keep an eye out for that. Kovacic has been confirmed as Manchester City's next signing. Gundogan has left the club as well on a free. Gundogan is heading to Barcelona, and City is paying Chelsea around 25 mil for the services of Mateo Kovacic. So this is an absolute wild transfer merry-go-round. I think both Kovacic and Gundogan are players who are incredibly, incredibly talented. So these moves are going to absolutely change the landscape of both domestic leagues in Spain and England, and just general UEFA leagues as a result. Chelsea fans seeing Mateo Kovacic in a City jersey, or having Gundogan play at the Camp Nou, it could kind of elicit a response that I think is going to be a little jarring. But let me get right into the rumors. So these rumors aren't confirmed, but they are sort of floating around, potentially about to happen. I will have all the Saudi rumors in a separate video, but this is for all the other leagues. The reason I'm separating them is because there are so many Saudi rumors and so many offers being sent out that it honestly justifies a whole separate video to talk about all the potential acquisitions into that league. So let's get into the other rumors throughout Europe and let's talk about what's going on. So Bayern is in search of a center back should Hernandez leave. If Lucas Hernandez were to leave Bayern, they are looking at replacing him with a left-footed center back. 2 targets have emerged as the most likely options for them. That is Pau Torres and Kim Min-jae. So Bayern is interested in Pau Torres and Kim Min-jae. Ultimately, Pau Torres would potentially be a Lucas Hernandez replacement at left center back as a left-footed center back. Kim Min-jae is somebody they have been interested in for a while, and in recent weeks, interest from United and Bayern has kind of caused a little bit of a transfer struggle to occur between the two. We'll see where he ends up going. I think either club would love to have him, and I think he'd be an immediate upgrade to both lines of defense. And I know I said I was going to separate the rumors for having Saudi rumors in a separate video and then having just UEFA rumors in this one, but this is a Saudi rumor, but also a UEFA rumor. Ultimately, Bernardo Silva has been approached by PSG a couple times. They are trying to get a sense as to whether or not he would be interested in joining them, and he is also being offered a contract in Saudi Arabia. So Bernardo Silva really, I feel like, is the person to look out for. on the whole Saudi Arabia situation. Whether or not he makes that move could determine whether or not other people of his caliber make the move. People in that, 26 to 29 age range who could see going to Saudi as, being a 2-3 year kind of stay away, and they could come back to Europe even afterwards. If they play well and, they're in their national teams still, then there's no reason for them not to make the move. I mean, if you're making 200,000, 250,000 a week at, say, Man City, I don't know his exact wage, Bernardo Silva, but if he's making that much, he could get that probably doubled, maybe even tripled if he goes to a team that is really lacking star power. So that is honestly a situation that could really change the landscape even further. Obviously, Ronaldo set the precedent. Now people are following. And Neves has been like a real kind of jaw-dropping one. But Bernardo Silva, off the back of winning a Champions League and a treble, would be nuts. It would just flip the whole transfer market on its head and would send everyone's head spinning. It would be absolutely ridiculous. But PSG is an alternative option. I know there's been a lot of links for Bernardo Silva to leave Man City in recent weeks and months. It's maybe going on a year now or so. Barcelona was an option last summer. We don't know if interest is still there, if it's concrete. But it seems as if City is going to allow Bernardo Silva to walk should a offer that, say, suit the club and Bernardo Silva appear. What that is yet to be seen. And then on top of that, for some Liverpool fans that might be watching, because I know I have a lot of Liverpool fans that watch the channel, since I am a Liverpool fan and all, there is a weird wrinkle of an update in the whole pursuit of a defender. This doesn't necessarily rule out Liverpool from buying a center back this summer, but there was a report from The Athletic that said that Liverpool doesn't think that any of their central defenders will leave this summer. So Matip, Van Dijk, Gomez, Konate, Phillips, probably all staying. We'll see how Liverpool lines up at the back. I was anticipating some shifts for Liverpool at the back line throughout this upcoming season. There's a chance, that they don't sign a fullback. There's a chance that they don't sign a center back. But I do think that they will sign a center back. I just think that something different might happen. My theory as of right now is that we're going to see Joe Gomez play as more of a right back this season, and that's how we're going to line up, and Trent will properly be like in the midfield. I don't know how that would work. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but we shall see. So comment below, what do you think about these transfers? What do you think about the rumors? Do you foresee any of these rumors happening? And what transfer do you think is the best on this list? And what do you think is the worst? Grade them below. Let me know if I missed any, and let me know about any other rumors that I should keep an eye out on or talk about on the channel. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the content, give it a like and subscribe. I'm Sideline Sato. Peace.